It just caused so many changes in my life, mentally, socially, um, physically, that I had never thought I could do or do. And I've traveled a lot.
All right, Rosa Lee, so nice to have this sit down with you. As we always do, with our Diabetes 180 clients, we try to tell the story of your experience, not just with Diabetes 180, the program, but your experience with diabetes as a whole. And of course, it's something that many people are struggling with and can relate. Let's start off, Rosalie, with just you sharing uh, your story, and as you adjust to the cat right there,
I'm sorry.
wants to be part
She
of the
just
little,
thought she should be here.
want to be part of the video. For those who are viewing, you probably know me already. My name is Lewis Bertus, diabetes reversal health coach and physician assistant. I may not know this lovely lady here, Rosalie, that I've had the pleasure of knowing for many years. And she's been a wonderful friend and an awesome client. Rosalie, tell us, when were you diagnosed with diabetes, and how was your health at the time?
Well, I thought it was fine. I just fell asleep all the time, but
Okay.
I just thought I was tired.
Mhm.
And I had just come home from my mother's funeral. I had, I was, it was diagnosed in 1998. My mother's funeral was due to her diabetic type
Okay.
2 um, conditions.
Mm.
And I just slept all the time. When I sat down, I was asleep. I could be talking to someone and I was asleep. I just felt like I was tired, not sick.
Mhm.
But I can tell you up front right now, I had no idea how bad I felt
Mhm.
until I did plant based. And I didn't work on plant based from 1998 until 2017. And
Wow.
then again, I put some extra effort into it again in 2023 with you,
Yes.
which I needed that help. So I didn't know how bad I felt, and I didn't know how bad I looked to people until they saw me after I had done my plant based food change. And they said, "What's different? There's something different. I don't know
Wow.
what it is. You're just different." And I just felt alive,
Wow.
vibrant and alive, just
That's
energy
powerful.
galore.
That's
Yeah.
powerful because I hear a lot, you don't know how sick you were until you get healthy, and it's so true. And it's interesting, for so many years you were, kind of just coasting through. Then you tried this plant-based diet. You're like, wait, I I was really sick, you know. That tells a lot about the power of a plant-based diet, and also shows that it's not something new. It's been around for a while. Um, the plant-based approach, I should say, to diabetes. So what treatments did you start out with when you were diagnosed at first with diabetes? And take us through what your doctor prescribed, maybe the diet he recommended,
Right.
and how you went through that.
I
Uh,
did a lot of medications, and every time I went to the doctor, it was medication. No one did any food education. They
wow.
say, eat lower carbs or eat this, but there was never really any didactic information for me. I just had to figure it out. And it got so bad that I had what do they call it, a sugar liver, and I had to do
Fatty
some
liver,
more.
probably.
Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, they had to do an MRI and help me figure out what's going on.
mhm.
And of course, the solution was add more medicine.
Of course.
That was the solution. And I didn't want more medicine. I didn't see medicine helping. I have two brothers at that time who were diagnosed, one type 1 type and one type 2.
Mhm.
And they didn't seem to care about their diet. They continued on, and they were strong and they had good muscle and good bind, good ability. Uh, Now one is on 4 days a week
Mhm.
kidney dialysis, and one is in bedridden because of the strokes that they've had.
So
And so, to me, after seeing my mother's funeral and knowing it was because of the diabetic complications, and my father also as well in 2005, I did not want that for me. I did
Mm.
not. And so I studied up and I found a lot of information, and it always was going back to whole food, plant based, always, always. And I
Mm.
didn't know how to do it, and I was afraid to do it
Mm.
because I thought it would take a lot of effort to cook.
Mm.
And I hadn't retired at the time. And so I didn't think I could cook.
Okay.
And I did do some studies, and I did go to some classes after I retired and learned how to cook. And it wasn't hard at all.
Oh yeah.
Pleasantly, it's not hard, and it's delicious, and it's simple. I mean, it really is pretty simple. No more difficulty than making other special recipes of some
Mhm.
kind.
I agree. I know myself, I didn't grow up, preparing meals for myself. Also, I got married pretty young at 21. So, my wife was, the one, preparing meals. I didn't have a stage where I had to fend for myself very long. But a lot of people can be shocked how easy it is to prepare whole
Mhm.
food plant-based meals. I think we get scared about like, what do I eat? I have to cook now. And, you don't have to be master in the kitchen at all.
No, not at all. No, in fact, it was more simple than I thought it would be. It
Mm,
does take effort, it does take thought, it does take preparation, but
yeah.
what doesn't?
What doesn't? Exactly. Um, yeah, and along that note too is you probably learned a lot from being in a program prior to the Diabetes
Right.
180
Hmm.
program, where they call it lifestyle centers, right? Where people can
Right.
show how easy it is to prepare meals. And you learned a lot there, right?
I did. I had classes every day about cooking. I had classes about exercise, and I didn't do any cooking for eating because they did all the cooking. They
Mhm.
did all of the um, serving sizes
Mhm.
until the last week, and then they said, "You serve yourselves now."
Nice.
And that was the first time in my life I learned how to do serving portions and
Mhm.
realized it is not hard. It's not depriving me of anything. In fact, it added so much to me. I mean, I can't tell you. I've always been
Energetic. Yeah. Yeah.
energetic. Thank you. I can interject too. Energetic. And, but this, with the walking, I got to where I was walking 4 miles a day, easy and enjoying it. I love walking. I don't know why I didn't really do it so much, but I love it. And I find that time um, from your program, I really appreciated the spiritual emphasis. And I found that in that time of exercise, I could spend time thinking about what we had talked about and my dependence upon the Lord, because that's a part of me that
Mhm.
is always going to be strong. And it's not like I prayed that He would stop me from doing anything, but that He would nudge me when I want to do something. And then I had to realize I really, really wanted this. I didn't want the poisons of sugar. I didn't want the overloads of fat. And it just caused so many changes in my life, mentally, socially, um, physically, that I had never thought I could do or do. And I've traveled a lot
Wow.
since I did the diabetic program, and I've traveled Europe, and um, I've traveled Ireland and Scotland and England and a lot of places, and I can eat in every one of those places.
I love it. I love
and,
it.
and I don't feel deprived.
Mm.
I never
I
feel
love it.
deprived.
And I think one thing that I love about the Diabetes 180 approach is that we emphasize the joy of living instead of the fear
Yes,
of dying, right? So many
right.
people, they're afraid of kidney failure and liver disease and heart attacks, strokes, all the complications of diabetes, being the end of them. That's not it's a strong motivation, but it's not enough, you know.
It is not. It is not. And what I appreciate about you, Lewis, is you always have a joyful presentation. I found that I needed someone to support me, and you were that one. You smiled, you laughed, and you said, "Don't beat yourself up. Let's just get moving on," and you always have a positive way to look at how to move on. Don't consider looking at your mistakes. They'll always be there, but that's not what defines us.
I love it. Yeah, I love that little encouragement, because you always want to know that what you're sharing is helping people and your
Yeah.
approach is working. And so I love you encouraging me that way.
Thank you.
So then you actually already answered my next question. So let's go into another question. So what are the benefits that objective benefits you've noticed since starting Diabetes 180 as far as blood sugar, weight loss, A1C?
Well, you've given me a few tools, an app called Lucid, and for me, it's a good place of responsibility. It keeps me focusing and not cheating.
Yeah, it's huge.
Because I don't want to have a good report. That's who I am. I just like to be Little Miss Perfect, but I am not.
Yes.
And so it helps me to do that. Plus, it keeps me realizing it doesn't take a lot to keep myself on track. I just need someplace that I have a responsibility to. If it's not a coach, the app is really good to be there.
Yeah.
And but a coach also gives you that the responses that you're doing fine. Just keep on. Don't drop off the cliff. You're going to keep going, and you can be the little Mario that wins the race.
That's right. That's right.
And I want to. I want to have a good, healthy life. I want to be able to go out and walk. I realize my mom could not do anything at this age. She couldn't even walk. My brothers are not walking. They're not living life. They can't make plans to live. And I can walk. I can go out and eat and not feel like I ruined my evening or my lunch, because I know how to make choices. And I know that I do enjoy good salads. So I go places where there's good salads, where there's good food. And I rarely, if ever, stop at a fast food place, because there's really not anything there to help me, and it's all there to tempt me.
That's what I call positive life changes, man.
It has been. It is. And obviously, I needed a new start, and that's why I called you. And that's why I connected with you. I needed to have a place of an accountability.
Yes, absolutely. And how did your blood sugars improve since?
Well, I dropped a whole point in my A1C.
Great.
That's really good. I don't have any sugars in the house to tempt me. My medications, like I said, the last 2 months have been, my blood sugars have been in the mornings between 129 and 69.
Wow. And
I don't mind if it's low a little bit, because what it tells me is that my foods are working for me. I did go to the doctor in the beginning of December, and she took me down 3 units in insulin, which I'm happy to have that all gone soon.
Yes.
So that I can really start losing weight. I don't feel like I lose weight very well when I'm taking the insulin. I don't think it lets me do that. I think it works against me. But, I live in a home where they let me cook. There's meat eaters and there's vegetarian with loves their cheeses. But I cook, and the little girl is 7 and she loves everything I cook. Nice. So I've been able to not have to take and deprive myself of vegetables and things like that.
Yeah. And I'm sure you still have the goal that one day you won't need insulin at all, right?
Yes. In fact, I need to show you after this interview the report. I did the
JD,
all
yep.
the tests for and they came back and they called and said, because I told them the last time I saw the doctor, my goal is to be off of my medication, if at all possible, because it's been over 25, 30 years now that I've had diabetes. And she called back and she said, good news, we can work for taking you off of medication.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So
And
I feel really good about that.
And what's great is that you have the formula, you know what it takes, and you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
It does take time, and I think that should be definitely a word of encouragement to those who are making the changes and they're not there yet. It takes time. And the blood sugar levels that you're at right now are most likely much better than they were when you checked your A1C 2 months ago. Right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I can tell. I mean, I'm way down most of the time. I have some medical issues that they haven't determined about why does my sugar goes up, but high after a meal, but it comes down in 2 hours. So it's doing what it's expected, just to not go up so high is the next thing.
That's right.
So it's a constant struggle, and the longer you live with it, the more you have to think about it, And for me, it's if I do the walk at the mall when it's raining outside. I haven't been there with the snow, but I will be, and just to do the work, and it will come out successfully.
Awesome.
It will. I know it will.
Yeah, and I can definitely second that. It will. We've observed it with so many people and going through this program, and you're only going up. So what would you say to those who may be skeptical on the fence on, number one, trying a whole food plant-based approach, which is so different than what's often recommended, and those who are maybe interested in this program, the Diabetes 180 program?
Right. Well, both the program with diabetes and whole food plant-based, Diabetes at 180, you can stay on the fence as long as you want, but you have to walk on the barbs if you stay there. And I don't want to do that. I want to walk on the ground on either side of the fence, and I want to be successful. And so if you get on the fence, which we do, lifestyle's not easy to change, but it always, as long as you focus on it, you get better and better at it. And then I would say that to stay on the fence is not the place to be. You have to make a decision. You have to say yes, or you have to say no. And you can argue about protein, you can argue about vitamins, you can argue about everything. But the truth is, the whole food plant-based fulfills every nutritional need you have in your body. It fulfills all of the vitamins, vitamin C's, and it helps with my blood tests are really good. So, there's one or two places that it just needs some help, but that's not my focus. My focus is just to do better. And the servings are easy. In fact, you can sometimes eat a whole lot more of the vegetables and things than you can other foods. Yeah. And so I just tell people that, you have to decide. And I guess if you want to decide every once in a while to cheat, then you pay the pauper, and then you get up and you go on. That's and you realize that wasn't as satisfying as I thought it would be. Well, I never find sugar satisfying. I like it, but I never find it satisfying. I never find oils satisfying. What I will tell you is with whole food plant-based, I have no acid reflux. I don't have any stomach pains. I don't feel sluggish. Every time I sit down on the sofa, I don't fall asleep. Stay on it. Stay on it. It will work. Whole food plant-based can be eaten anywhere you go. Anywhere.
Yes. as you experienced yourself, right?
Yes.
Um, yeah, I really think that you've helped a lot of people and will be helping a lot of people with this interview who are on the fence, right?
Okay.
Push them in the right direction. So thank you so much for all that you shared, and your experience really can be a spark in someone's life, that is looking towards this path of diabetes reversal and healing.
Well, I
So,
would hope so. I would hope so. I would encourage them